need to thank
For the. Are we ready for Mr. Streetman to make? Just go? All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for attending our meeting this morning. Let's get started. Councilman Oliver will offer our invocation this morning, and then we will stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Okay, let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we gather together today, we are so thankful to be in this beautiful community that you please guide everyone to have understanding, patience, and wisdom as we are here as neighbors serving neighbors. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bill. That was very good invitation. All right, our first agenda item is to approve the minutes from our regular council meeting on August the 21st. Our first agenda just had a typo, so we're changing it to August the 21st. So I'll need a motion to approve these minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Bruce. Second. Thank you, Jim. Any discussion from the council? All in favor of this motion signify with aye.
Aye.
All right, the minutes are approved. We'll next go to adopt our agenda as presented. I'll need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Okay, thank you, Jim and Dan. Discussion from the council. All in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
All right, agenda has been approved. Next on our agenda are mayoral and council remarks, and I want to thank all the members of the Special Projects Committee who worked for months and months to plan our fall event. I thought it was fabulous. The citizen volunteers were great who helped. The Sky Valley Country Club for allowing us to use their property and offering lunch to people was fantastic. The Sky Valley Scaly Mountain Fire Department that participated was wonderful. Thank you all for everything that you have done. It was a fun and a wonderful reflection of our warm and inviting community. I also want to thank the landscaping committee. I think they have made our city look fabulous. They worked really hard. Thank you all for everything that they do. I also want to thank Sharon Van Camp and Public Works guys who were all working Fall Fest on their day off and made the hay bale trail very successful, and congratulations to all the hay bale winners. I thought they looked great. Any councilman need to make a comment? Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Jim.
I'd like to say a word about the EMI needs study that we received some few weeks ago.
Okay.
I read it carefully and I tried to find it again last night, and unfortunately it was an email attachment and stuff like that sort of disappears. But one of the things that I keep hearing, maybe we don't need this sewer, and maybe it's something that can be pushed down the road. I think that the data, the report wasn't easy to read. It was put together by engineers for engineers. It didn't have a good executive summary. It had a lot of weasel wording. It wasn't an easy read. You spent a lot of time trying to figure out what the technical abbreviations were that they were using and to understand the charts. But in the end, the data was presented, and the data was based on 8 readings for the E. coli over the course of the year. 4 readings in the busy season and 4 readings in the winter season. And as you might expect, the years in which we had major septic failures, there was a big spike. The other thing that stuck out for me was that during the COVID years, there was a plateau of E. coli. In other words, in the years when everybody came out of the cities, came up to Sky Valley, and the more winter occupancy occurred, there was a plateau, which is what you would expect if there were leaks. The residences that were often empty weren't contributing anything, but now with people in them, they were. So one of the concluding remarks for EMI was that there was a slow, small, steady increase in the readings, which to me would be consistent with gradually deteriorating septic systems in the valley. So I'm convinced that, yes, there is a problem. Now, one of the things about small town government is that, councils vary from year to year in their willingness to tackle big issues. And this administration has found lots of ways to make small improvements in things in Sky Valley over the years, but has not hesitated to go ahead with some of the big controversial projects like sewer. And since we do have a problem, since we want to be environmentally responsible as we move into the future, this is a major infrastructure project. Sure, I have quibbles about the engineering design. I see ways that we could make it less expensive. But the important thing is that we start taking care of our problems. And this is a case where I think that the excellent need not be the enemy of the good. That we've got a plan, we've got funding, we hope, we think. I think the right thing to do for this city and for the future of the city is to go ahead and put this in. It's going to be inconvenient to dig up the roads and install it. That's life, just like improving 441. It's going to be worth it when it's done. So rather than advocating further study, stuff is in place, it's ready to go. I think it's something that we need to continue with. So
Thank you.
thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Jim. All right. Any other comments from the council? Okay. Our next agenda item is our city manager's report, and you please do it from your throne back there. Do not throw your body up and give the report, Mr. Streeton.
Good morning, everybody, and to echo others, I would like to thank everyone, the volunteers, the staff, and the participants who helped make Fall Fest as great as possible. As you can probably tell, I'm kind of infirm a little bit. I recently had hip surgery last week. I had my left one done back late summer, had this one done a week ago, the right one. A little slow going, but I'm on track for full recovery and looking forward to a great 2026. Being that I had the surgery, unfortunately, I had to miss Fall Fest. As usually, you can find me on one of the tractors pulling hay rides, but Jessica, my wife, did drive me up here. Took me 20 minutes to get in the car. We brought here 15, but anyway, it was good medicine to just kind of ride around and see that everything was going on. And, the hay bales look great. As the mayor said, congratulations to the first, second, third places. I know that a lot of work and creativity goes into those this year. My daughters, I think, painted 4 or 5 of them, and they always enjoy that. Thankful to the communities as the staff to making the city look great. Had a few comments about how great the city looked. Of course, the weather, and there's no better place to be in the fall than the mountains. The Sky Valley Times is out. Please look at that. I'm also pleased to say, Mr. Ponkowski, that we have an audio system here. We'll have it up by next meeting. That was a great suggestion. I know that everyone is wanting to know the status of the $2 million grant. I have nothing new to report. We're still, as you all know the news, the federal shut down. I emailed the lady yesterday, her box with 4,000 others. They're probably at home looking for jobs. I don't know anybody. But so I promise you all, as soon as we know something, we will get that out, because I know that's on everybody's radar. STR, short-term rentals. As you all may know, that was passed in the fall time. Here we are in the fall time, so that's typically a time when they're up for renewal. Anybody that currently has a short-term rental, it may be time to renew it, just kind of FYI. If you're thinking about doing a short-term rental, which is 30 days or less, there's a permit required annual registration for that. If you're using your home for 30 days or more, traditional, long-term, it's not required. So this is kind of that's a $300 annual fee. Just want to throw that out there. I want to talk a little about city finances. As you all know, we run a calendar fiscal year, budget year. So we're getting late in the year. For this time of year, we should normally be around 81% on expenditures. We are currently holding around 78, 79. So we're holding good. As we trend out the rest of the budget year for 25, the adopted budget for general fund this year was $1,534,000. On the revenue side, it looks like we should finish up about $1,520,000, $1,530,000. So there may be a little shortfall. I attribute that to just a little bit of underselling on building permits, things like that. But that could always change. If everything else is holding good. Expenditure side, barring something unforeseen, it looks like we should finish the year out about 1,480,000 to about 1,005,000. So we should finish the year out to the good. Again, barring anything unforeseen. Water and trash enterprise. If you remove some of the unbudgeted but necessary expenses, such as the PRV pits, we had to buy new pump motors for well 7, well 2. We bought some of the listen and leak detection devices that are going a long way to help reduce the water leaks that we've had. If you remove those expenditures, and Cody's supposed to be here, they're actually dealing with a PRV pit right now, so they may not be here.
Okay.
I want to segue to that, but we're probably going to finish the somewhere around about 500,000 expenses, with about 530,000 projected to finish out the on the water side. On the trash side, expenses should finish up about 214,000, revenue about 220. So right now things are looking good on the general fund, water, and the trash funds there. As you all know, the election is next month, 4th of November. City elections and T-Splosh renewal, and again, that's renewal. Early voting has begun. If the T-Splosh gets extended, and we talked about this, it will fund an estimated $3 million over the next 6 years. Obviously, as you know, that goes toward roads, road-related work, supplies, equipment, materials. The current penny tax is coming to an end, and when the dust clears, we should receive a little over $2 million of that money. It's my understanding from talking with the county, we should get our final payment next month. If the T-Splosh tax is extended, allocation should restart around April of next year. General fund, the fiscal year 26 budget draft is being finalized. We hope to have something out for public review and inspection by late this week, early next at the latest. As I talked about in previous meetings, there's going to be 2 proposals to the general fund. One if T-Splosh passes, one if it fails. If it fails, if it makes sense to expect some type of tax increase, because if we want to continue doing any kind of the level of road improvements that we've done in the past, that's gonna have to be incurred by the general fund where we've been able to offset that to the general fund, to the T-Splosh fund. But you know, we'll be talking about, have that out pretty soon. With all that being said, the anticipated schedule will be, as I said, get the budget drafts out here in the next few days. After the election, which is on the 4th, we're looking at possibly, I think I sent y'all some information, either the 6th or 7th, doing a work session to talk about the proposed budget. And then we will have 3 public hearings, and those will happen in November. They will all be properly advertised, Zoom links, et cetera. So folks will have an opportunity to be a part of that. Finally, the SPLOST extension that was passed last November. It's my understanding we should start receiving those funds very soon. The most recent SPLOST, it had actually expired this past summer, but Georgia law was like an 85-day time period from when the old one expires to the new one starts. So we should be seeing that money. That's calculated separately than the way the T-Splosh does. That's calculated by population. You take the city's population per the census, divide it by the county. It doesn't benefit us as much as T-Splosh does. In that where the T-Splosh is a 6-year, $26 million T-Splosh. The SPLOST that we should start collecting is a 5-year, $25 million SPLOST. However, the county had a tier 1 project, as you all may recall, $5.5 million, which is the fire station in Dillard. That takes it to 19.5, so we're all the cities are now, the counties having to get their cut off to 19.5. That was well negotiated. But anyway, when the dust clears, we'll see about 600,000 during that time. And that money has been earmarked for public safety, such as vehicles, building maintenance, parking related projects, think pickleball, and then infrastructure. So that includes all that I have. I don't see that Jerry and Cody's here, so I'm prepared to give it over to you, Madam Mayor, unless anybody has any comments.
Comments or questions, council? All right. Oh, go ahead, Jerry. Thank you.
I do mine in big type, so I don't use my glasses, but I'm reading glasses for this one. But anyway, on the road side, Jerry said pothole repairs completed Bayberry Lane, Fairway Lane, Forest Court, drainage inlets cleared and debris in preparation of seasonal rain. They've been doing that. Been removing leaves, blowing leaves. You've probably seen them go by doing that. We recently paved Red Wolf Trail, a 700-foot section of Bayberry Lane, which is in really bad shape. And then a few hundred feet of Knob Drive. Those were funded by T-Splosh. They're finalizing the mowing and weed eating, continuing trash, recycle collections every week, tree trimming, flail mowing, irrigation system inspections. You may have noticed that we got that new attachment a few months ago, and they've been using that. It's really been doing a great job to do a lot of the right of way canopy clearing, which is also important as we get into the winter months. Whenever you have snow clearing, and you can let Mother Nature have sunshine down the roads, that's usually the best thing to do. They spend a lot of time doing maintenance on the equipment, road oil changes, starting to put the winter tires on our vehicles, things like that. The water side, continue to, they're planning to rebuild 2 more of the PRV pits. They're actually working on one today, so that's probably gonna be one of the rebuilds right there. Of the 17, we've rebuilt 9, so I think they'd be 10, we'll probably do one more 11. And once we get into next year's budget, the plan is to buy some more of those kits. They're about $3,000 each. So they've been doing the worst, obviously, first, and then as we kind of graded them out. So, and you probably have noticed that's gone a long way with some of the leaks the city's had. Leak detection monitoring, we talked about that. That's really gone a long way to help us identify some of these little small leaks. We found out that a lot of times, it's, you've heard the saying, death by 1,000 paper cuts. A lot of these leaks are not big leaks, they're just teeny tiny leaks that collectively, with a 55-year-old system, we've been able to find those, so that's gone a long way to our reduction. I talked about this a minute ago, we replaced the well pump motor on well 7, had to completely rebuild well 7. We had to replace the motor on well 2, which is actually over here on Winding Ridge. The well 7, and those that you don't know, it's actually off of, is it hole 8? It's either hole 8 or hole 9. It's down. You have to go down the cart path to get to it. It's been there for years. And they continue to do the mandated routine sample testing that they have to do, and that pretty much concludes the public works side of things, Madam Mayor, Council.
Questions or comments for Jason? All right, Jason, if you will. Question. Yes, sir. Would identify yourself, Al, and your address, please?
Al Poinkowski, 66 Pleasant Mountain Drive. Coming down here, this morning, Mr. Streetman, I saw the leaf blower out. It was a Kubota pulling the unit, and there were 2 public works people in there. From my perspective, that seems like overkill, having 2 guys in one Kubota pulling a leaf blower. Can you explain why that procedure is going on like that?
That blower that we have is a pretty advanced blower. You got one guy obviously driving the Kubota, another guy has a remote control. That thing will tilt up, down, left, right. So what you got, one guy is running the blower while the other guy's driving. We tried doing it. You got one guy, but from a safety standpoint, when you've got one guy trying to.
I saw how that was. The blower was in an up position when they were just driving, and when they pulled up onto one of the roads, and it went to the side and was blowing up.
Yeah, that usually.
In other words, one guy's driving and one guy's sitting there until they hit the spot where they want to blow, and then it maintains that position while they're doing that whole.
Well, they are raising and lowering because that's a pretty powerful turbine. And so you got one guy, you'd be surprised if they're not, I'm Johnny on the spot on that. It's blowing leaves and trash on people's cars and their front porches and everything else. So we find that obviously you see 2 people out working, but from an efficiency standpoint, that guy running that blower, he's helping to protect us from getting complaints and claims about things. Because we've had a couple of complaints where we've had one guy trying to do both, and he just lets that thing hold position, and next thing you know, the city hall is blowing up. Because, I just washed my car and I got 14,000 leaves blown onto it. So I understand the optics of that, but it seems to be the most efficient way to make that happen. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other comments or questions from meeting participants?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes, sir.
I just want to share, Al, when I got here in, I don't know, 2011, I think it was, one of the very first fall, I'm driving along the street and I catch up with a city pickup truck, and it was a big pickup truck. So it's a guy driving it. There were 2 guys sitting on the tailgate, and both of them had really powerful blowers. And they were, so back then it was a big truck with 3 guys, and now it's a little bitty Kubota with 2 guys. So I guess that's progress of a sort.
Thank you, Jim. All right, you want to introduce the rest of your department heads, Jason?
Mr. Piper.
Mr. Piper. I like his other name better.
Well, I don't want to say that.
I know you get nervous later.
Mr. Dinker. Good morning, everybody. Keep it real brief. In September, I issued 1 stop work order with the assistance of the police chief. At 248 Bayberry, they were up there working on a roof without a permit, and a citation was issued, and the contractor ended up paying $125. In October, a citation was issued for $100, and that was paid by another contractor for cutting down a tree on View Lane without a permit. So we are enforcing the ordinances and making sure that citations are being collected. 2 certificates of occupancy have been issued since the last city council meeting. 615 West Sugar Bush, David Goodrow. I issued that on September 4th. And they're holding off on the, they had a variance for a carport. They're holding off on that, but they still plan to proceed with that eventually. They haven't physically moved in completely yet, but that, ended up looking very nice for those of you that haven't had a chance to go take a look at it. 2068 Ridgepole, I issued a CO for them on October 3rd. And, that was another one that had a variance. Now I'm being very, very meticulous in making sure that the measurements are precise and don't come into the right of way or the setback, so that we don't have to go back and go through this again. Making sure that the site plans put out by the surveying company and the developer all match up, tree cutting, etc. Construction's continuing on 1160 Knob Drive. That's been in the works for a couple of years. They had some downtime due to some issues, but in fact, they just had the windows and doors installed last week, so it's moving along. 2 new homes, construction permits I issued recently, and for new builds, and they're both on Ridgepole. One of them is at the intersection of Ridgepole, LaBelle Circle, and Covered Bridge. And they just started clearing that lot last week. And the second one was up on Upper Ridgepole just before the gate. And they also started clearing the lot on that one as well. So you may have seen some logs going back and forth, but again, that's within the parameters of the survey and making sure that they don't cut down more trees than there are a lot in between the septic, the drain field, and the footprint. In September of 2025, 20 building permits were issued and 10 tree permits. In September of 2024, 12 building permits and 10 tree permits also. So we're pretty much, we're just a little bit slightly ahead of last year, which is good news. And so far this year, we've had approximately 210 business days. And so it works out to approximately 1 permit a day. But that's in addition to, nuisance complaints that I get, site inspections and visits, citations, and I get calls from everything from dogs running to, right now I've got a follow up on it. Just when I walked in here, somebody on Sky High has a dumpster out on the edge of the road, and I looked at it. We don't have any permits for Sky High right now, so I'm not sure what that's about, but so just day to day. So obviously everybody is welcome to call in anonymously, or I prefer I can get back to somebody and say, hey, here's how I resolved that. I mean, everything from somebody raising chickens to no roosters, but Halloween decorations put up too soon. We don't have an ordinance against holiday decorations being up all year. So just for those of you that might be interested in knowing that. So again, there's just a lot of small things that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But anyway, that's it.
Thank you for your report. Comments or questions from the council? Comments or questions? Yes, ma'am.
Susie Blankowski, 66 Pleasant Mountain. We have a new neighbor on Sugar Bush that he is, or she is parking, and I know it's due to the fact that they don't have adequate parking, but it's a truck and they park with 1 or 2 wheels on Sugar Bush. I don't know, is that an acceptable?
Well, we do have a parking ordinance, and I work closely with the police department, because it depends on whether, it's there on a long-term basis, or if they move it, on a daily basis, whether it falls under their jurisdiction or mine. Again, we try and coordinate. Is this across the street from you, beside you? I know where you live, so.
Okay, we're on Pleasant Mountain, Sugar Bush. I don't know, do you remember the address?
It's the house right next to the corner of Sugar Bush and Pleasant Mountain. It's, as you're going up towards Pleasant Mountain.
I think I know which one you're
house,
talking. Okay.
just before you get to the intersection there. And it was just recently sold. and they've got the motorcycle that's in the driveway, and there's a large pickup truck that's parked on the road. Sometimes they don't have a parking apron on the road.
Sure.
The police chief should be aware of that. Yesterday or the day before, with all the leaves that were coming down, their pickup truck was partially, it was in the driveway, but partially on the roadway, overhanging the roadway. And with all the leaves and stuff that was going down, I thought it was pretty unsafe.
Sure.
And you have a police department that patrols these roads.
I'll coordinate, I'll follow up with the coordination
And
with
and I'm
the
not
chief.
aware of anything that's going on, so I think it's a hazard that if an accident should happen, the city's gonna be responsible for some of that, if there should be a lawsuit.
Is that a daily basis that you're seeing?
They're permanent residents. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure I know which house you're talking about, because for those of you that don't know it, that particular house, if it's the one I'm thinking of, actually had a radon issue. So, people think there's not radon in the mountains. Yes, there is. I've had my house inspected a couple of times, because I had it in Florida. And it's,
Is that from
odorless.
Matthews? Is that what the radon is? I don't.
It's an odorless gas. It comes from, soil and gypsum and, it depends. So rocks, but, it's radiation. So, I mean,
Okay, oh,
but anyway, so you can pick up a kit at Home Depot for, I don't know, it's not a whole lot. And just put it in your house and then you'll know.
so they have that yellow door and it's a smallish,
I know which house you're talking about. I haven't seen that vehicle, but,
it's like after work,
okay. But chief, let's talk about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Chief Boss, do your thing.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, our department for year to date, we're on track to have one of our best years. Accidents are down by 20 from this time last year, so we're still holding good with that. We've made 546 traffic stops, that's up 84 from last year. That's resulted in 210 warnings, 336 citations. We've completed 24,235 resident checks. That's an increase of a little over 2,000 from last year. 19,000 business checks, that's an increase of 3,000 plus from last year. Our patrol miles are right at 52,833. And again, that's up 3,200 from last year. Officer Williams, one of our night shift guys, is working on making us our own Facebook page. He's actually got it made, and I've sent some invitations out, but I'll be sending out more. It's just a Facebook page, kind of like the others, that I can get information out quick that needs to be put out. Also, Officer Williams has been working diligently trying to get us grants for things that we could use. And this is just an example of one of the things. It's called a Guardian light. It's basically a light that we can wear on our uniform if we're out on 246 somewhere working traffic. And it just gives drivers something else to see that we're out there. It's just a real good tool for officer safety. It also has a flashlight and other options that we can use. Officer Williams also has already secured us a grant from the Fraternal Order of Police to get all of us new ballistic vests in January, the beginning of January on their next budget year. And again, I get questions through email and by phone asking about the staff of the police department. We have 5 full-time officers and myself, and then we have the 2 part-time officers that are on as needed. They haven't been used very much this year, maybe once that I can remember that we've had to call in one of them. So we really haven't had a need to use our part-time guys, which they're hating, but that's just the way it is. We had a Facebook post over the weekend. I can't remember if it was on which one it was, if it was Sweet on Sky Valley or the neighborhood. Somebody was asking if anybody could come give them a jump on their vehicle. So I was sitting at home and I spotted it. So I messaged on there, called on duty officer number, and I gave the number. a little while later, I seen him post something to, about that he spoke to Dottie and she told him that she couldn't help him. I'm like, wait a minute. So I called Dottie, of course, and she's like, I'm not sure what's going on. She said, nobody's called me. She didn't even see where I had posted and tagged it to her to go help the guy. So I called the guy back and spoke to him, and he had called and asked him what number he was calling. Because I thought maybe he just had the wrong number. He wasn't calling the 1026. Well, come to find out, long story short, he had called Grayson County Dispatch 911, and the dispatcher advised her that police officers don't jump vehicles off. So dispatch is now aware that not to make that decision, that no matter what the call is, pass it on to us. So hopefully that'll remedy that. And that isn't something unusual, because they'll say, well, I can't jump your vehicle because it might mess up my vehicle. We've got a jump box that we carry with us. We're glad the unlocks jumped off, anything we can do to help it, keep them from having to spend some money. So I think they were visitors. He never really said, but he was glad to know that we'll be there if he needs them next time. And that's about all I got.
Thank you. Comments, questions?
I had a question. Chief, I know Dottie and probably some other officers are going around giving out the refrigerator magnets with all the numbers and everything. Is that pretty well complete?
Oh, no, we got a long way to go. Each officer has his own, and we're recording everything we can so it doesn't get doubled up.
The point being that everybody should have the numbers. You don't bother using Facebook for something like that.
Yeah, the numbers are all listed on the magnet, correct? Yeah. And we're working at it daily, but it's a lot to do.
Would you just do a little description on what that particular project is that you're working on?
Yeah, we put some informational pamphlets on bears and some other things that might be beneficial to the homeowners. And then the refrigerator magnet we have made up, it's got our my cell number on there, and I can run and grab one, but it's got the on-duty officer number. That's the main thing I wanted to get out, that if it's a non-emergency, you can call the guy on duty. He can let dispatch know where he's going and what he's doing. For something like a vehicle jump is a good example, that you don't have to call and bother dispatch and stuff like that. We can be contacted directly, and that's the 1026 number. But yeah.
Well, this effort is called Knock and Greet, or what do you call it?
Not involved.
What?
Not at all. That way they can get the homeowners information. We're keeping our own database of numbers and names of who's at each house. And that way, if there's a tree down or something and the people are out of town, we can call them directly and let them know what's going on. So them numbers won't be given out to anybody. That's just for our use, their cell numbers.
That seems to fit in nicely with our emergency plan too, in case of some disaster.
Right, we'll be able to pull that over for that. Correct.
That's a work.
Any comments or questions?
Yes.
Chief, can you explain what a business and residential check consists of?
Yes, with the house checks, that's something that the homeowner asks us to do when they head back south or wherever they're going for the winter. We drive by the house twice a shift, once a shift normally, but it usually gets done twice a shift, so it's getting checked 4 times a day. We just pull up, make sure there's nothing obvious where the window broken or the door's open or something like that. And that's the house check. If something's out of the way, we do have all those numbers already to call them. Because sometimes we'll let somebody use their house, or we see a car there that we don't recognize, we can call the homeowner before we start thinking somebody's broken in. We can call them, and that's usually what's happened. They let somebody borrow their house while they're gone. And then the business check, they get out like at the country club, they'll get out, check every doorknob, window all the way around the business, the cart barn, the chapel, all the businesses around.
From my law enforcement background, when I was with the Syracuse Police Department, we had to do business checks. We actually checked out of service and then went and checked the building, walked around the entire building, made sure doors were secure, windows were secure, and then it's time consuming.
It is.
You've got thousands of checks going on, and I'm trying to understand how you can do that in a short period of time.
They break it up over the 12-hour shift, like they'll go do the area at the country club, the cart barn, all that. Then they'll go do a zone and check houses, then they'll come back and check the swimming pool. There's only the business checks we do is city hall, maintenance, Pos Realty, Timeshare and Pool Area, Country Club, Card Barn, Chapel, Post Office. So they've only got like 7 there that they're doing, and they break it up over the shifts, so it's not a routine.
Also, another, I had brought this up with Chief Estes when he was here. I've lived here for 10 years. And outside of you, nobody's stopped by my house to talk to me, knowing that I've been involved in law enforcement and support law enforcement. What are you doing to engage in community policing?
Right now, that was the initiative, or that's what drove the knock and talk, first of all, because the talk comes in as while they're given the information that we have, and also asking if they have any concerns or questions that we could address. That's just the first thing we put into place.
No, so I've been outside my house doing yard work, and numerous times in 10 years, police officers have driven by, they wave, and not one of them has ever stopped to say, hey, how you doing, Al? What's going on? Anything we should know about? I think that's important, and I suggest that you might want to talk to your officers about engaging with people.
Absolutely.
Know what's going on, know who lives there, know what cars are there, what are supposed to be there, what hours people keep.
Agree, yeah.
And the other thing I've got, crime here is practically non-existent. It does exist though. On crimes that have occurred, like a burglary or criminal mischief, what kind of a closure rate by arrest do you have?
I'd have to go check the stats. That's not something that I have in front of me, but yeah, I can easily. see
Well,
which goes.
we don't have thousands.
Right, right.
So
And a lot of it,
if you have 3 of them a month, you should have off the top of your head, whether we close by arrest, none of them or all of them.
the last cases, I haven't had any burglaries or thefts, anything recently as being like, since I've been took over, the biggest thing that we've dealt with is, scams, somebody getting in, somebody getting out. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of closure for that because they're in the Philippines or wherever they're at, doing that. And that generally gets passed on to the bank's investigator. So our hands are kind of tied as far as closing cases like that. And that's the general, I mean, I can't even remember the last time we've had a burglary or anything of that sort.
Thanks, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Chief, I have one question.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I noticed on one of the reports that one of the officers mentioned something about a hog trap. Are we having hog problems?
Yeah, then we've seen, there on Knob, it was getting rooted up real bad coming down towards the timeshares there. And, Lieutenant Edwards has moved the trap and he's trying to bait it and get that took care of before they get any farther.
We were just talking about that the other day with someone else, and I was thinking that there wasn't a problem.
Yeah, and it's been, knock on wood, it's been a good while since we've had any, and then he's got, Steve Mason at the, golf. He's supplying him with a couple guys to help him out now, because them traps are heavy.
Oh,
hard.
yeah.
So
Absolutely.
now they've said anytime you need us, call us.
Do we have a question online?
Sharon had a
No, I have a
question.
question.
Oh, go ahead, Sharon.
Sharon, 99 Alex Mountain. When you're passing those kits out or whatever it is you're doing the talk and not, are you asking those people who have short-term rentals to place that?
Yes, yes.
Because I know we have the form through City Hall, but I need to add that number to it.
Yeah, and
But
I'll
I
give
just
you a bunch of the magnets too, in case somebody. comes
Okay,
in
because I
here.
think it would be good to attach that when they get a license to have that,
Absolutely.
because that's what, the police, the fire chief had said, a lot of times when they're in panic, they don't know where they are or who to call,
Right,
so that would definitely help. with
Yeah.
that.
Great
I can
idea.
do that for sure.
Great idea. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Don has.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I would just like to make a comment.
All right, you gotta say your name, Don, and your
Don
address.
Rice, 1824 Bridgeville Drive.
Yes, sir.
Number 141, by the way, I'm getting it, but Sky Valley. These guys, I've had 2 events in the last 2 years, got a check in the mail this week, $49.50 from the clerk of court, because these guys arrested the people that broke into the post office. And my wife had some stamps in there that didn't get returned, but I can tell you, as we were doing that report, Postal Service wouldn't do anything. he came to my house after we reported it, and he got me $49.50.
Yes.
And the other thing they did, I don't think the chief knows about it, because his man David handled it. I bought a trailer that had been stolen, but had been recovered. But the seller didn't turn the title in to the people that I bought it from, so I couldn't register it. I took it to the sheriff's office, they never could do anything. These guys sat in my driveway and got the report from the Home Depot where it had been stolen, so I could get it back for my trailer. They do a good job for us, they do a great job.
Fantastic.
By the way, I don't know, I could use them leaving me alone a little more when I'm working in the office. They always know No, I think you're very engaged with the community. I was walking yesterday, David, and you stopped and checked on because my arm's broken. You guys did a great job.
Okay. So Don, you can take the chief to lunch in your trailer.
I would- But I tell you, I tried first of all, I thought the sheriff's department wanted to arrest me because I bought a stolen trailer, but it had been stolen from Home Depot. They were in South Carolina, they had recovered it, but Home Depot never gave them the title to the people that I bought it from.
Oh, I see.
So when I tried to register it, the sheriff's department said, you got a stolen trailer. I thought I was gonna get arrested. And then I went through 2 or 3 weeks of the sheriff's department trying to get the registration and title from the people in South Carolina. Never could do it. They did it in about 15 minutes. They got on the radio or the phone to whoever, the sheriff's department in Pickens, South Carolina, and got me.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that story, Don. Okay. All right, it is now time for our committee reports, and I cannot thank the people of our wonderful citizens who agreed to serve on our city committees. Your efforts and time committed are invaluable to the council and to the city, and I appreciate everything that you all do. I'm going to start with Bruce. If you'd like to report, do you need to report on the Special Projects Committee?
Madam Mayor, the only thing I have is, we finished the Fall Fest. Prior to that, we did our quarterly cleanup from the front entrance to the junction. By the end of the day, there was garbage there again, which is always a pleasure. But the only thing as far as to finish up with Fall Fest are the stakes, Sharon, that we had for the vendors, the numbers. I'm gonna go over there and pick those up. We've got the garbage can over there and then bring this back over here. But other than that, that's all I have.
Fantastic job to you and your members. Thank you. Thank you, Bruce.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
may I make a suggestion?
yes.
Even though Bruce won't be on our council next year, we will not relieve him of the
I've already told
responsibility.
you. I've already told you that. Thank you. Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
my point.
Yes.
I appreciate that, Tom. You don't know how much I appreciate that.
Along with watering the entrance.
Yeah. He's off that duty right now,
I go temporary.
temporarily. Dan, do you need to report anything on planning and zoning?
Planning and zoning has not had a meeting since our last council meeting.
Okay.
Nothing has come before us.
Right. All right. Mr. Gordon, I'd like to present the marketing.
Well, again, good morning everyone. Give you a brief update on what's happening in marketing. First of all, I'll talk about Doug Hollingsworth of Gulf Light. Joey and Lisa Johnson of Southern Fairways, who visited Sky Valley earlier this year, just wrote a wonderful article about Sky Valley. And it was sent out to over 50,000 people. It has a wonderful cover. If possibly you could look it up, if you show it, if you would please.
Sorry. I
The
didn't do that.
magazine. We do Gulf Light. Essentially, this is it, Southern Fairways, and it says right here, visit Sky Valley. It's in there.
Cool.
And in the area, it says, visit Sky Valley, Georgia's highest and coolest city. If we go into it, contents here, number 8, visit Sky Valley, and I'll see if you can find it over here. And then we can go to, you can find it over here. This is the, again, we got 3 pages in the center. If you look at this, and I hope you up on the monitor. Visit Sky Valley, play Georgia's highest course and coolest summer escape.
Did you hear Dan's comment?
Yeah, no, I did not. My ear.
Good, I'm glad you
Yeah.
did.
I'm gonna read it off.
I'm sure the owl will pick
How we doing, Sharon?
Which one do you want?
This is Visit Sky Valley, Southern Fairways, look in the Southern Fairways, Visit Sky Valley.
Let me go back to Doug.
Hopefully on the monitors, we have it on it, but I'll go into it, 3 wonderful pages on it, and I'm gonna read something about it. It really says about this is purchase, first at 3,500 square feet in the northeast Georgia, surrounded by waterfalls, hiking trails, and Blue Ridge Mountains. Sky Valley doesn't just claim title of Georgia's highest and coolest city, it earns it. Residents and visitors enjoy the great outdoors year-round. Even in the summer, the elevation provides conditions that are relatively cool and relatively spectacular. But the climate alone isn't what golfers draw and travelers back year after year. Sky Valley strikes the perfect balance between secluded mountain charm, convenience, access to a wide range of nearby attractions. So this is pretty big, 50,000 going out, which one of the things that the visitors get. The second thing I wanted to talk about was Southern Fairways, and we'll go into the second article, has put an online ad about Sky Valley and real estate and links to about 35,000 people. This is real estate collaboration we've started between the, in this case, Lisa Johnson, Gulf Shores, Alabama, and Sky Valley.
Do you want the
Look at
latest one
pictures
now?
here.
Is that what you're doing, the latest one now?
Yeah, this is a link, it's recent one she just had sent out. This went to about 35,000 people. Okay. Very professionally done. What we're doing here, of course, in terms of marketing and working with local real estate people, having people here get drawn to Sky Valley, what the wonderful things we have to do. This is really what marketing is all about. And thank you. Second area, we have media writer Steve Pike visited Sky Valley September 9th to the 12th. Steve's background is very, very impressive. Everyone got to meet him. His visit went very well. They stated that the people in Sky Valley are very friendly, welcoming. They enjoyed the club tour, croquet lessons, timeshare tour, meals at the club, tour of Sky Valley, and the area showing real estate and activities. What we're trying to do with these people who come in, these media people, showing, yes, the golf course, which is wonderful, but there's so much more here. And that's what we're really trying to do, Skilly Mountain, you've got hiking, and you want to see the whole thing. And of course, in terms of real estate, we show them real estate. That's Tom and Jeannie Smith. They were so accommodating. They showed them their house. They get to see what's here. So they get to really see everything about. They got to see timeshare. They see the rental property. So we're trying to show them the whole thing. What's in Sky Valley? What these media writers come here. It's not just golf. It's about the whole area and what it's about. Doug has now, in terms of Doug has sent out some social media stuff, and we'll do a big story. After his visit, Steve Pike, he'll be sending again another big story like this out, so we go to reach a lot of different people. Okay, Visit Sky Valley webpage. Our realtors have information. Sharon, did you show that one, the visitor tab? Yeah, okay, very good, very good. This is something that was set up in terms of local real estate people, showing that they have sites to go in. Nothing new, I think it's going on. Has there been any additions since our last meeting?
Yeah, since our last.
Okay, great. Other things that are done, timeshares at Sky Valley. I want to bring you up because they joined the marketing effort last year. We really welcome what they're doing. I'll bring you the last report. Timeshare at Sky Valley, new walkways are being built at the Sawgrass units. More repairs, upgrades will be done from November through May next year. They certainly appreciated when Steve Pike visited. We brought them down there and we showed them timeshares and what's happening. And they're very impressed with the timeshare, especially the pool and what was going on in the modern area. So very positive report. The Laurel ad, we just had an ad. Maybe you could show us the Laurel ad.
Sorry.
I know you got a lot going on.
I wasn't
You
aware.
don't want to take it up to see the picture. This was an ad to come up again for voting to enforce the Fall Fest. This was something originally we looked at, and one way we could help promote Fall Festival. Sharon did this, very impressively done. Little things that, thank you, Sharon.
That's in the Laurel,
Yeah.
the most
Yes,
recent
Fall
Laurel?
Pardon me?
Is that the most recent Laurel?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Just
What do
a
they
little,
cost?
a little nugget,
Yeah.
the photograph that's on the front of the current Laurel, one of our residents, Jim Rhodes, took. And inside, there's a little, 2-page article about him and shows some of the pictures. So if you get a chance, grab the current
Yes.
Laurel.
Well, this one came up, Sharon brought it up, and they gave us a special deal on it, so we did it. It was originally $950, and I think you got it for $600 for the last thing, trying again, for the Fall Festival. I did want to talk about the Sky Valley road signs. I don't know if y'all got to see it, that was something marketing effort. Do you have any photos on that, could possibly show it? These are the 4 signs we've seen going up, and I've had a lot of very positive comments, very professionally done, looks good, people really enjoyed it, seeing it, and thought they were professionally done. I'll just show this.
Hang on. I do, but I'm
Okay,
sorry,
okay.
I wasn't.
No, wait, I'm asking you. Again, this was part of the ideas to come up, what we can do, promoting Sky Valley, and I think certainly.
Gordon, do we have a stockpile of those magazines here at the city hall for people to pick up?
The Laurel.
We did, we don't need more because they've been picked
Yeah,
up.
okay.
While she's looking,
Okay.
I would like to thank Gordon and his wonderful committee, because it's a cooperative effort between all the entities in Sky Valley working together to promote and talk about the wonderful things in our city.
Right.
Was Timeshares Club, POA, the city, the council. Who am I missing? Did I miss anybody?
Yes, there's 4, yes.
Yeah, yes,
The
and
club,
they
the
all
Four,
have.
yes.
And the club, yes, they all have representatives here every month, they meet together, all these entities put donations into your budget. And thank you all for doing that.
Thank you for doing it. That, can you?
It's loading right now.
Okay,
sorry.
well, I'll do it, there we go. Again, very professional, great artwork.
Who did those
Very,
photos?
very good, and we'll all see it on side of the road. And finally, I'll wrap it up here, our budget. I'm very, very pleased to say about budget time. At this point, before you can put it up, if you wish, you can see it. Can you put up the
I
budget?
knew about that one.
Yeah. Very good, excellent, thank you. Very well, you can see our budget. At this point, we look very transparent, what we're here. Our budget was 26,000, we spent 18,000, we've got $7,015 remaining. We'll have a few costs there, but I think we're gonna roll over. So going in, at this point, our checking balance is 14,000. And at the end of the year, if we spend everything, we'd have $6,000 that we'd be rolling over to next year. So looking at, again, we try to be very frugal where we do it, but opportunities that come up in marketing, we jump on it when we have it. And then finally, I want to say I'm very, very pleased for our 2026 budget. We already have approval, already got contributions that are approved, they say for $5,000 each from the city. I'm sorry, the city we approved yet?
The recommendation will be
Okay.
5,000.
The POA has approved the $5,000 contribution. The club has approved the $5,000 contribution, and timeshare has. So we're already in. So they like what's happening in marketing, what we're trying to do for the city. And I guess it's for the city to do the final 5,000. So this is common, when it comes to marketing, it's 4 entities that are involved in it. Any
Fantastic,
questions?
fantastic, thank you.
Then
Gordon.
thanks. appreciate it.
Questions or comments?
Good job.
Good job.
Yeah,
thank you, Gordon.
Gordon.
Yeah, certainly, great.
All right, and our last but not least.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What groups has the marketing committee reached out to other than golf? As far as promoting other activities, bicycling, hiking groups, things of that nature? What groups have you reached out
It's a
to?
great question, because every time our market, if you read any of the reports that come in, first thing we do, a report on hiking. That's a big deal, working with the hiking. We talk about kayaking. We talk about down here at the coast, at the Skinny Mountain. The last time we had the media writer, we took them by there and we showed them the things you do. What we're really looking for is when they come to Sky Valley, the example is they come here, golfers come, they come and play. Well, what is the rest of the thing? What do they do the second and third day? And that's one of the big deals now we're finding with communities at golf course. What else is there to do? And that's what we're really promoting. Speed writers, read these articles that come out, that come from these media writers, and all of them are pushing the idea. You can go chalk fishing, you can go hiking, you can go kayaking. There's a lot of different things we're doing. And of course, one of the big groups is homeowners, you. That's one of the biggest here. The marketing's really mission is to improve and increase the market value of our property. So
Okay,
that's a big thing. So marketing, really the big issue is not the club. The biggest marketing issue for Sky Valley marketing is improve the value of homes. That's where it is that we spend the time.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Susie
Sure.
Pointkowski. I was gonna save this until the end, but I think this kind of fits in with marketing. And I'm gonna speak to something that is occurring for 13 years in a row that would fit, I thought, nicely into the marketing committee. I have volunteered myself to be part of the marketing committee, and I'm kind of saying it again now. The Sky to Summit race, the trail race that has been occurring, this is the 13th year. I consider it to be Sky Valley's best kept secret. It's a 50K on Saturday, this Saturday, a 25K on Sunday, and all the activity begins and ends in our city pavilion. I am in contact constantly with Sean Blanton, who is the owner, the race director of Run Bum Tours. And I'm gonna get emotional here because this year, the race is dedicated to a man who has either run or been an instrumental part of the race for the entire 13 years. He passed away in August, and his family, in his obituary, which I read, speaks a paragraph about Sky Valley and his love of it, and how he wanted his family to dedicate this race to him this year. And Sean took it upon himself to make it a forever dedication to this man, Victor Mariano, for the entire life of the race here in Sky Valley. And I can talk a long time about Sean to Sky Valley. He loves Sky Valley. He maintains our trails without us even knowing. We have run into him on the trail where he goes onto the Bartram himself with his little crew, chainsaws. He's mastered. He's taken classes to maintain trails, and he maintains his entire trail, which 50 miles of running on the trail, I can't even think about it. So I'm not a demanding person. I think you know that. I am asking that we celebrate this.
Up to our next meeting, we love, that's the kind of things we love. The Summit race is one of their big deals. That's such a thing we want in Sky Valley, what it brings in. And, well, in terms of Fall Festival, because that's so big, Fall Festival was looking at changing the dates at a different time, but we didn't want to change it because of the Summit race. You remember that was brought up, Jason, that we understand that. And they do a lot of marketing themselves. We've asked them repeatedly, how can we help out? How we can help out in terms of marketing it? They do a wonderful job. Jason, I know you got any comments on that in terms of Summit?
Well, Sean and I, we talked a good bit. I mean, I have said, we have a marketing committee. And I guess kind of what you said, Gordon, he typically says, "Hey, we've got it covered, but thank you very much." And so,
We would reach out, we'd love to get more involved in it. I think it's a wonderful thing for Sky Valley. It's
Susie,
great.
would you send that information to Sharon? I think that's a fabulous
Yes,
idea.
and
I'll do a little blurb and then.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, and also,
Yeah.
if you want to attend the marketing meeting, it's always the last Thursday of the month. Please
We'll be-
feel free to come and chime in with that
We'll be here.
information. That's great.
next
information.
Thursday,
Yeah.
we meet the end of the last month, that last Thursday of the month.
Yeah.
Start at 10 o'clock. We'd love to have you come. That's a great program. Love it.
Also, if you're marketing Sky Valley and you're aware of Run Bum Tours, why isn't marketing committee money going out to, and why aren't you talking with Sean Blanton to see what he needs?
If we reach out, I mean, those kind of things in terms of summit rates, things of that nature, we absolutely love, and we love to do it. Have someone reach us, we'll reach out to them. I'd be for that. Absolutely.
I heard you, he did say that you have reached out to him, but I myself
Yeah.
am a direct line to him, and I have reached out to the marketing committee before you and was rebuffed. I don't like to go in and beg. I know Jason, after me asking, I think you gave us money, I went and got a sign, welcome Sky to Summit.
Reach out to me. I've been here 4 years. I love it. I love new ideas, innovative ideas for the city. I welcome it. Come to me. I've been the chair, so I'm interested in it. And anything comes my way, I'm not aware of it. I'd love to get involved with it.
Because
Much we
Sean has reached out to me on Monday with needs. And so, again, I'm in a bad situation because you reach out to him generically and he,
So work it out, you get hold of me and
okay.
I'll make sure things happen. Thank you.
Is
it in the
One thing
Sky
I was
Valley
gonna mention,
Times?
Yeah, right.
Did you put it in the Sky? We just got a Sky Valley Times. I didn't see it in there.
The times I have posted things for the city about the run, I had to go and find them myself. And with the fall festival, I apologize, I just didn't go and dig for it and find it, because every time I posted something, it always says, I can't believe it's sold out already. And it's almost like people are like, why are you telling us now? But it sells out like a year before
Every year.
almost. I mean, it's a big deal. It's just my negligence because of the fall festival right now.
Okay, I am always here. I always know, I'm always in touch with
Well,
him.
anything you
throughout the-
get, please, I'll give you my card if you don't have my number, my email, but if you would just share anything, I'm happy to put it out. And if you have information on this dedication, I would gladly get it out before the weekend so that people are more aware of what's happening.
So Gordon.
Yeah.
Put that on your list.
Yes.
Susie, one of the things I was gonna suggest,
Steve dial about marketing.
Yeah.
You know, it shouldn't be people in the city telling you, hey, this is coming up. You guys should
Well,
know this.
we're aware of that. We've been talking about the last couple of years.
Talking about it is one thing, and doing something is another.
It's been.
Thank you. I think we've settled that.
Yeah, thank you.
Dan, did you have?
I was
something
just
to say?
gonna suggest, when he's up here maintaining these trails, let the city know in advance, because there's a lot of people in Sky Valley that'll volunteer for things like that.
Yeah.
And be happy to get out there and help out.
Okay, thank you, Dana. All right, last but not least, our last committee is Mayoral Advisory Committee. Bill, did you have a report?
Sure. The last open thing that we have that we've been working on has to do with our emergency plans. And just to reiterate the mayoral committee, and we put this in the minutes as well. It's not our job or we don't have the authority to make policy. Our job is to take an issue that's been surfaced by the mayor to us, or that we see, have a discussion, come up with some sort of recommendation, we take that to the mayor for action. The members of the committee are David Spears, Tony Allred, Liz Rosaire, Tim McClellan, and myself. The last meeting we had was on June 3rd. And really, that was a follow-up meeting when we were getting together, when all the wildfires are happening. And we wanted to make sure that we had significant plans in place, both from the police department, from the public works department, fire department, et cetera. And that we also had a central point of communication so that things wouldn't go out and panic everybody. And that once we got updates from the fire service and the Raven County emergency people, we were able to have that here. And Sharon, you were kind of the point of contact there to send out updates. Because we wanted to make sure that before we pulled the trigger on some of these emergency plans that were already in place individually from these other departments, that we had the real deal, the real data, the real update. So what came out of that in our last meeting was we needed to consolidate those various plans into one plan and then get it posted on our website so it'd be available to all the citizens here. So they could see what would be happening if an emergency was declared, what department was gonna do what, you know, and fairly detailed. So those plans have been, the police has a detailed plan, Public Works has a detailed plan, and there is an evacuation plan that we revised when those fires were happening in case we had to do that. That's all been gone to Sharon. She's been asked to update that. And we expect to have that done and up and available here within the next 10 days or so, right? So that's there. And then the fire department, they always have a plan, and that plan doesn't change. And they, you know, what we found out, was a lot of detail behind that. And we won't post that. That's your responsibility too. But the key part about there is they set up a point of command, the central command, if we have to evacuate or what's going on in the fire, et cetera, and work with our other city entities. Also involves the relationship we have with the Forest Service and with the Raven County emergency folks. So apologize, it hasn't gotten done sooner. Unfortunately, had a lot of issues with medical and stuff, but we should have that done, consolidated, available for everybody's review here within the next week or so.
Thank you, Bill. Comments, questions for Bill? Okay, thank you, Bill, very much. I'm going to go to the new business, which is consider the resolution to continue the Surfline leak protection program and acknowledged rate increase. Mr. Streetman, if you would like to present that at this point.
Madam Mayor, Council, as you all probably are aware of, and you all know, 2022, the city partnered with Surfline Home Service, a company. They provide a leak protection plan, is what they call it. Basically, you have a qualifying leak, you can file, a hot water tank, toilet, whatever. You file a claim through Surfline, and then they would pay that portion up to $2,500. When that was done back in 22, it was done where you had to opt out. Everybody automatically opted in. And I think about 98% of the people actually continue with it because it's a great program. It's an optional program. They charge the city $2.35 a month. We add $2.50 to your water bill. Small 15-cent administrative fee, really nothing, but it kind of goes for some of the costs associated. And a lot of times it seems that when somebody calls, they get their water bill, oh my God, I got a $2,000 water bill. It's usually $65 a month or whatever. Well, Summer, or myself, or Karen, or Sherry, you let know. Well, you realize you have Surfline. Well, what's that? That's a program that you've been paying for. And then they find out that that $2,000 water bill, they have to pay they pay a 12-month, they take an average of what your 12-month bills are, let's say it's $65. And then they qualify the leak, and then they pay the city $19.35, you pay the $65. That resets the clock, a year goes by, you can file another claim. They're a business, they have a profit loss ratio that they have to maintain. And looking like, I don't know if she's online or not, but, what was conveyed, they had taken, since it started, I think, premiums around 75,000 premiums, however they paid out close to 60,000 in claims. So obviously as they look at their profit and loss ratio, they reached out to us a few weeks ago and said, hey, we need to look at raising our rates. And so again, this is an optional program. Nobody is made to participate in this. As the saying goes, operators are standing by. If anybody wants to opt out, they can do that. But since it began, it's been $2.50. Effective January 1, it will go to $3.44. The coverage will be the same. That applies on the residential side. Now, on the commercial side, there will be a more significant increase. We don't have a lot of commercial. They don't have a lot of commercial customers. It will go from $665 to $925. Multi-occupancy, 13, 15, 18, 35, and then the master meter, multi-habitational, where maybe you have a bunch of condos, they have a master meter. It will stay the same $2.50 a month. But again, just to reiterate, this is an optional program. Nobody is made to be a part of this. You can cancel anytime. However, I think a lot of people see the value. So what does that mean in real dollars? It's gonna go from about $30 a year to I think about $42 a year. So again, this is just a resolution that basically says that the city recognizes they would like to continue with the program and does recognize that there will be a rate increase, that the citizens have the option to.
So if our citizens want to stay in, they don't have to do anything. And if they want to opt out, they have to contact the city or Surfline.
They can contact Surfline themselves. However, if they call the city, we'll be glad to help them do that. But anyway, it's been a pretty good program. I do know that they typically have paid claims pretty quick. So again, it's just, it's a business decision they've made. They've got to raise their rates, and so.
I think it's a great improvement over what was previous to this. Was, I think if a citizen had a leak, they had to come to the council and get permission, and the council would, I think, pay half the leak. But that was every 4 or 5 years. So if you had multiple leaks.
We actually had to abandon that policy.
And the city actually had to pay that bill.
Yes, correct.
Or eat that bill.
So I think this is a great program. Any comments or questions from the council?
It's a great thing to get off the council's agenda, because these kinds of little things just, really made for monotonous city meetings.
And it also,
Well,
as Dan said,
and the cost adds
and
up.
the cost too, yeah.
And,
I'm looking at this claims data.
Probably the majority of people that had leaks just went ahead and paid the bill.
Yeah.
And so it took a lot of courage for the other folks to come to the council and, argue that, could you please share some of this with us?
Yeah.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir.
If we adopt a resolution to continue this for the city, we would like to make sure that we do a great job communicating what this is out to our citizens.
They actually.
And with a specific, easy procedure for them to opt out if they choose to.
They will actually be sending out letters to the homeowners, letting them know about this rate increase. That was one of the reasons we wanted to get this out. So there is the rest of this month, November, December, so there'll be plenty of time for everybody to opt out. But again, it's been such a great program. They don't experience a lot of opt out, but again, I just don't want to beat it to death, but it is an optional program. If anybody wants to opt out, they can. And, if they will get the word out, we will do so for them.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Kirsty Beasley, 539 Overlook. Can you explain to me how this is a solution for the city? I didn't quite understand that.
As in the past, there was a policy where if a person had a high water lit bill, $2,000, usually it's 60, now it's $2,000. The only real option was they would have to come before the council. And the council had the authority to basically eat or waive up to 50% of that. So council, okay, we'll waive $1,000, you pay the $1,000. And so, I think Surfline actually reached out to the city and we had, I think there've been a couple of these events, there's always a handful every year. And they had this program where they basically, again, like insurance. And we had to abandon that existing policy and absorb, meaning that the city can no longer have the ability to waive because now it falls under the Surfline. If nobody participates in Surfline, then they're ultimately responsible for paying that bill. But the benefit to the city is that where in the past, it put the city in a situation where they had to make that decision to either waive some of that up to 50% or just and then essentially eat that cost. Whereas now, by that person paying that premium every month, if they have it's up to $2,500. But if they have a $2,000 water bill of a major leak, Surfline actually pays the city. So
Jason,
yes,
this has nothing to do with a water main leak.
no, this
It has
is
to do with
a
the
leak on
homeowner's
a
part
homeowner's leak, yes,
on their side of
of the meter, yeah.
of the meter. So it takes the burden off of them and the city.
Yeah, well, yeah, identified leak that the homeowner has. It just kind of takes that sting away. It's just an insurance policy. And it is amazing how the relief that a lot of people have, they don't realize because you have to opt out. A lot of people, they didn't realize they were paying for it. They're so gracious. It's been a great program to see.
So if there's a problem with the water leak, the first question is, were you on Surfline or not, from the city?
They typically they will call the city because, oh my God, I got this $2,000 bill. And we will look and see.
So you're saying it's absolving the responsibility of that previous policy, that we don't have to do that now because you should have been on Surfline?
Well, again, I'm not sure if I'm understanding the question, but so.
The city benefits from the citizens doing this. They get, how much money does it generate?
2,500.
Well,
2,500.
the citizens benefit because they don't pay.
Okay, I understand, Sharon, but my question is, the city benefits from them being on Surfline, so they make money $2,500 a year.
City benefits because we're no longer waiving part of the wasted water from a leak.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand, so you make money on it, and then you get to say,
We're not making money.
you just said you made $2,500.
No, they will pay up
We
to
don't-
Okay, so
$2,500.
you said there's an admin fee, how much, that's my question
15
was,
cents a customer.
okay, so my question is, how much revenue is generated a year from this program?
Probably $1,200 a year, maybe.
Okay, so you made $1,200 a year, according to Jason, so you made money on it, and then you have the capability of not participating in the previous policy where you would negotiate with residents if there was water, I'm just asking to clarify that.
Yeah, that policy is no longer in existence.
Okay, so, and how did that policy go away? Was it a written policy?
Part of the agreement to have to contract or go into this agreement with Surfline is the city had to formally abandon that policy.
To them, okay.
Mayor, if I could
Yes,
address
sir.
this, and I'll give y'all some concrete examples from some other cities that I represent. This Surfline program, they went around pretty much every city in the state and offered their services as described. Some of the cities I represent signed up for it, some of them did not. The cities that did not, what happens is when there's a water leak, the first thing you look at is it on our side of the line with the city, or is it on the water customer's side of the line? If it's on the city side, we're responsible for it, we gotta fix it, that's our deal. If it's found to be on the water customer side, it's 100% their problem and they have to fix it and they have to pay for any overages that they, if you have $1,000 water bill because you didn't realize you had a leak, you're responsible for that $1,000. So what happens is when that happens, inevitably, every time they say, I didn't know I had a leak. Yeah, it was on my side, but it's so unfortunate. I just didn't know about it. I fixed it once I figured it out, but can y'all waive this $1,000 water fee? And so what happens is they come before the city council. It used to happen here. It happens in the other cities that we don't have this program. I represent a small town down in Burke County called Keysville, Georgia. We've got one right now. She had $2,500 worth of water. And she brought it before the council, and the council was going to waive the entire amount. That's gonna set off because someone else a couple of years ago had something very similar and they did not waive the entire amount. And it raises issues of politics and, you know, that's your cousin and this, that, and the other. So what the Servline program does is kind of takes the politics out of who gets a cut in their bill or some grace from the city council, puts it on this Servline program. It acts as an insurance policy. So if you're a water customer, you want to have this insurance policy, you can sign up for it. So that's, I mean, it's beneficial to the homeowner if this happens. If you've ever had a water leak on your side, you'll realize that the water rates accumulate very rapidly. Even if you discover it in 2 or 3 weeks, it's a big water bill. And so, I mean, but if you don't want to have the program, don't sign up for it. As far as like what the city gets out of it, what happens is let's say you had $1,000 water bill when it's normally $60. This Servline insurance program, if the person is signed up for, will pay the city the entire water bill. And then they have to come back and they'll square up with the homeowner as to, you know, how much that water customer has to pay out of that $1,000, whether it's 60 or whatever the average rate is. So that's, when y'all say that's the money that you make on it, you're basically just getting paid for the water. It doesn't, you know, the Servline's paying you. In the past, you could have made the homeowner pay the entire $1,000 bill. And so I think that kind of answers the question there. Making money so much, I guess there was that 15% service fee. Yeah, we're just not losing the money. And it's also taking the politics out of y'all having to decide every person that comes before y'all, whether they're worthy or not of having their request granted. So I mean, I think that's the purpose of it. You're not required to do it, and you know, if folks want to opt out, they can opt out.
Susie?
I'm not speaking for Carrie Sue, but a thing I heard her say, I think, is how did this, withdrawing from the policy of the council, doing that, how did that get conveyed to the citizens? And did it have to be done formally?
We actually had to go in and amend the water ordinance that went through 2 public hearings, first and second readings. I think that was done 2022, I believe. In fact, if you look at the water ordinance, the Servline program is plugged into that. And we actually had to remove that section from the water ordinance. They were very adamant about that.
So we all know that if we don't have Servline, y'all are not, don't you like this other thing? You are not going to relieve us of our bill.
That's correct.
Thank you
Yeah.
for Jason.
Okay,
And,
thank you.
you know, I think the city took on the responsibility because the city's fingerprints were all over the problem from the very beginning. The city, well, first of all, the city has always been very proactive when they notice that you know, they read the meters and holy cow, Mr. Curtis's bill, look at this, look how much he's used. Is he watering his grass? Well, no, it's probably a water leak. I got phone calls, you know, within a day of having the meter read that I should check around and see because you're using an awful lot of water and there's probably a break someplace. You know, the city has always tried to tell people, turn off your water at the street when you go out of town, so that if there is a break in the house, you don't ruin the house. Well, the city would do it for $10, but probably half the people had the tool to reach down in the hole in the street to turn the water off. Well, a lot of us homeowners were pretty clumsy about it. And we'd get down there and we'd pound the thing, and the little nut would get worn off, and then finally we can't turn it off anymore. I'm not talking personally, but you call the city, and the city comes out and they can't turn it off either because you've battered the nut, the mechanism. So the city got the bright idea, well, we'll put in a homeowner's valve on the homeowner's side of the meter so that the homeowner can turn it off on that side. And so the city side will remain pristine because our trained employees know how to seat it properly before they start turning. Well, the city was going to do this for free. So there was a contract. We installed this, the homeowner's valve. And maybe it was a problem with the scope of work, not specifying the valve. Maybe it was the plumber was just, a lousy plumber and putting in the wrong thing. What happened was the homeowner valve was a valve that was not intended to be underground. And so it was deteriorating and these things were failing. And I learned about it from my plumber. And I contacted a couple other plumbers who said, yeah, same thing here. That's the problem. So the city was trying to figure out, well, what in the heck are we going to do? Are we going to go change out all these rotten valves or what? So Servline, we explained to Servline, we got this problem. And they said, that's okay, we don't care. We'll take it anyway. So the city, maybe they should have supervised the installation better, but it was a problem. And this was one of a number of alternatives that were considered. And this is the one that seemed to make the most sense because we didn't even know, we weren't even able to tell from our own records how long this had been going on, how many had failed, how many were still in the ground as a ticking time bomb. But Servline said, fine, we know, we don't care, we'll cover you anyway. So as I look at it, we've had about 20 leaks a year. We've got what, 600 homes maybe, maybe a little more, maybe a few people opt out.
750 water taps or.
Some of those are master.
Okay.
Close enough, yeah.
So I pay $250 a month, $30 a year, maybe 600 homes, $18,000.
Yeah.
What have they paid out in each of the 3 years that they show? $22,000, $1,500, and $16,000. So obviously they're not making much money on this. And, if it takes a little more, we're going to pay $350 or whatever it is. Let's do it. Let's keep it going.
Yes, yes.
I wanted to just quick, another question was asked about where the 15 cent came from. When we went with them back 2022, they actually said to us, a lot of cities and counties actually add a fee as a revenue generator.
Yeah.
And we talked about that and we said, well,
Yeah.
that's really not the intent here. But I think it was more out of just convenience because your basic water bill is $39.50. The trash is $23, so I think that comes to $62.50. So we talked about it, as you all recall, so let's just add 15 cents, make it even $2.50. That makes, so instead of your bill being $64.85 a month is 65. So again, the intent was, that was never intended to be a money maker. We make maybe $1,000 a year. But if that became an issue, that could certainly, that 15 cent could be taken off, but, that's how that 15 cent came about, it was just more of a,
Okay.
that was suggested, in fact, we had that conversation, then again, at renewal, did y'all want to raise the 15 cent? We said, no, we just like to keep that the same, so I just, I was.
Thank you, Mr. Street. All right, yes, ma'am.
Talking about water.
Name and address,
Oh,
please.
sorry, Gail Greenfelder, 19 Erie Lane. When I looked at a water report, the Valley View condominiums, they are the biggest user in Sky Valley of water. Can anybody speak to that, why that is? Has anybody looked into the reason that they use more water than anybody?
No, one.
There's 48 units on that, yeah, so I don't think that would problem.
I would guess part of it is their pool, but I don't know that for a fact.
Yes, but there are 48 units in here. Yes. Okay.
It's the biggest condo association. It's the biggest condo association.
Yes, yes, it is.
So there's 48 units on one meter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So obviously it's gonna be 48 times the size of a small house.
correct. All right, so let us move on. We got a lot more to do. At this time, I'll need a motion to pass the resolution to continue the Surfline leak protection program as just described.
I will make that motion.
And I'm proud to second it.
And Jim will second. Any other discussion from the council? All right, at this time, if you are in favor of the resolution, signify with aye.
Aye.
Okay, resolution has been passed. Now we are on to the public forum and general comments. Any person with business before the council not scheduled on the agenda as a public hearing may address the council for a maximum of 5 minutes. The speaker must identify by name and address before speaking, and no formal action can be taken. And we will ask the speaker to come up to our illustrious podium. Do we have any person who wishes to speak? Yes, ma'am.
I'll come to the podium and introduce myself. I am Beth Pence, and I live at 667 Driver Lane in Sky Valley. And I have a couple quick questions, 3 quick questions for the council. Have any Valley View owners or leaders been told that they should not talk to certain candidates?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Where can I obtain the estimate for the $13 million to connect to the Dillard water system?
Where can you obtain the estimate?
The estimate
That
you-
was a conversation that we had with the Brandon Thompson, who is the head engineer with the Raven County Water and Sewer Authority, and also the director, and I'm blanking on his name.
I was at that meeting, man.
Yes, sir.
Ms.
Take
Vance,
it.
we met with, I think that's when Mr. Van Camp became the representative. Myself, the mayor, Mr. Van Camp, went down and met with Brendan Thompson, is it Thompson or Thomas?
Thompson.
And Sam Beck, who's the chair of the Water Authority. And Mr. Van Camp has some questions about being on, what his duties are. And I think the question was asked about, at one time, there was discussion about bringing or tying into the Raven County Water Authority, and Mr. Thompson threw out, he said that, I want to say $12 million. He said
12 or 13.
He estimated about 12, but that was just a verbal. There's nothing official about that. I thought that was kind of surprising when he said that much, but, you know, it was just a verbal comment he made.
Okay, all right, so that's where we can get the information from. Has anyone asked if we can hook to the Raven County sewer system, which is before the dump area, which is different than the one at the Piggly Wiggly?
I believe they're all run by the same folks.
So they would say the same thing, that's probably for hooking into that one as well.
Yeah.
I have one other comment.
Sure.
The original study that was done for this was a pressurized system that would run up and over the mountain. Several years ago, that was $7 million to put that system in place. And you could, new construction, new homes couldn't hook into it because it's pressurized. It would have to be all done right when it was put together. Over time, that can got kicked down the road. And that went up to 8 or 9 million just to put that pressurized system in, plus what we would have to pay. So that became, that can't be done. It's just not gonna happen. So that's when the conversation changed to go to a package plan.
Also, there was, also we would have to pay an annual fee for them to treat the sewage,
100,000 a year.
which was, at that time was 100,000, and then at the time that we met with Mr. Thompson, it had gone up to almost $150,000 a year, and he said, you can depend on, if you all decide to do this, we also would have to construct the pipes and the pumps. We would have to have the upkeep on them, and the affluence fee would go up yearly.
Thank you. I appreciate that answer. And then I'm just gonna end with an email that I've received from Henry Fitzgerald, who is the president of the Sky Valley Country Club. He said, thanks for reaching out for clarification. The club board has not discussed or voted either way on the septic to sewer project and did not say that the club would opt out if the sewer plant was built. I also did not say at the October 3rd meeting that I or club supporters support the current septic system or not. My only public comments thus far was at the October 3rd meeting. One, I backed EMI, not from personal ties, but that was based on on a trusted industry contact who worked with Jerry Hood at EMI for years. Secondly, regarding a conversation about connection fees, when a Valley View resident asked whether the club could help pay for condo septic repairs since they cross club facilities, I pointed out that if a sewer plant is built, Sky Valley Country Club would be one of the larger commercial customers, and that gives us leverage when negotiating any connection fees. Since that meeting, I've had a singular focus on finding out how Sky Valley Country Club's current system is working and source that history of any failing septics affecting the facilities and what is the best option for the club as a facility. And what I learned was that Sky Valley septic systems installed by Merrill in 2007 have no known failures. Most of the problems were seen on the course and near facilities that come from older timeshare and condo systems whose drain fields cross the country club's land, per Steve, who is the country club's director of maintenance. While we had the issues on number 12 and 18 over the past few years, only known issue at the present time is behind the new maintenance building between it and the Fifth Fairway Cart Path near the practice range. No official studies have been made that I'm aware of. So I just wanted to share that detail from the country club
Thank you, Ms.
president.
Pence. All right, anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Carrie Sue Beasley, 539 Overlook. Thank you, Beth, for clarifying that, because I know it's been stated several times from the mayor and the council that the country club has opted in, and apparently according to the club leadership, that is not the case. Jim Curtis, I want to say thank you for your campaign plug at the beginning about the sewer and EMI. I didn't find that report difficult to read at all. And there has been no source identified for the E. coli in the watershed. And I just want to make sure that we understand that the watershed is the public water, where the geese and the new hogs, apparently, and the deer and the bear all have the opportunity to defecate. So the EMI is in the watershed, not our drinking water, which is well water. There has been no E. coli identified in any of our drinking water.
Right.
So thank you for allowing me to clarify that. Jason, you said earlier today, those expenses aside in the water fund, excluding all the expenses that you named, we were doing okay. Can you please explain to me the difference in what came out in the rate study and the water study from EMI that showed that the water fund was running negative cash flow for the last 3 years and projected to continue to do so with the expenses exceeding 24%?
I think I mentioned that to you, Ms. Beasley, but we really haven't began the process of that rate study, as I think when you asked for that, I told you that that was something that we were gonna be picking up first of the year. At the time, the council was on when they received that, but when you did your OR record request asking for all correspondence from me and I was compelled to give you that. And writing, for transparency, we did so, but, I've gleaned through it, but I'd have to, I'm not as apprised to as I should be to give you kind of proper questions, but,
So, what you just said a few minutes ago when you were talking about the budgets, that all these expenses aside, the water fund was looking pretty good. But you paid for this study, this rate and financial review study from EMI that was very lengthy, that says it was provided all the financials from our city, and it shows it's running negative cash flow for the last 3 years and continue to project to do so. I'm just trying to understand.
what I was referring to, just every month I take a snapshot of where the financials are for the city. And looking at what we've taken in so far for the year in water revenue, what we have spent, if you took away, there's about $60,000 in some unbudgeted spend, motors, some of the studies, some of this consulting work, the PRV kits, those rebuild kits. If you take that away, obviously we're running in a negative. What I was saying is, if you remove those expenses from it.
But you can't remove them.
I know, that's why I stated that, that's why I stated that if you, all things being equal, if that was removed from the equation, that we would be, that things would be doing good. If I misclarified, yeah, right now, there's a lot of unanticipated expenditures.
Sure.
That have us negative, but that's why I was trying to stress that. If I didn't clearly stress that, that's what I was.
No, and I appreciate you clarifying, but with budgets, unfortunately, you can't take out the expenses. and say,
No,
well, if
no.
we didn't have this, it wouldn't count. That's not how money works. But thank you for clarifying. I do appreciate that. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ronnie Mateu. I am an architect by profession. And I want to speak to today. I've never in my whole career as an architect spoken to a city council meeting. But I felt compelled to come here today, mostly out of anger, but my wife has warned me. Temper my commentary, but it's personal and emotional to me as a professional, as an architect, as a human being. But as a man of faith that I am, I will try to temper my commentary to be hopefully clarifying to some of the folks here that are probably the subject of some of my commentary. I'll start, if you don't mind for a moment, to speak about my career as an architect, not to boast, but to affirm my qualifications to be able to say some of the things that I'm going to say. I have been practicing architecture since 1980. I have done buildings of all sizes and types in Miami and throughout the country, really, from airport terminals to single-family homes, to additions to churches, to band shells, offices, etc. I'm registered in a number of states, including Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Mississippi. Currently working on some projects in those places. I am a fellow of the American Institute of Architects. That is a distinction that is given very rarely to architects in the American Institute of Architects. Fellowship is awarded to somebody for a number of areas of work, including where I was elevated to fellowship, which was for design. Design makes up less than 2% of the 100,000 plus architects in the country. So it is a special recognition and an honor that I cherish. And it is also because of The work that I have done over the years has amounted to 82 design awards from the American Institute of Architects and the Society of American Registered Architects. I say that because I try as an architect to be a person that creates and solves problems for my clients, creating special places. I also have been a property owner in Sky Valley since 2002. First lot that I ever bought in 2002 was given to me by my Sunday school teacher in Miami, who was one of the original investors in Sky Valley. And as he grew old, he realized that he was never gonna, develop and build. And he offered me the opportunity to take this lot, and we did. And we came up here and we fell in love with Sky Valley. Over the years, we have been coming up with my family, enjoying the golf, the circumstances, the trails, etc. over the years. But it wasn't until the last 5 years ago, that we actually got to build. Over that time, we managed to purchase a number of lots in Sky Valley. So that makes me, I guess, a developer, which may be a bad word for some, but it is a development opportunity for me that I saw where I could build and design houses for anybody in this beautiful setting. And we selectively bought lots around Sky Valley over the years. And we're able to finally be able to build our first house about 5 years ago at 1311 Ridge Bowl. Now, these houses and my work, if anybody bothers to look at our webpage, would realize that the work that we do is modern, clean, simple, direct, and as we say in our webpage, architecture for its place and architecture of its time. Now, there may be opinions, as there are, that despise modern architecture, despise other things, and people are entitled to say that. While I would like everyone to love what we do, I see it, I read it on Facebook from wonderful citizens of Sky Valley in particular, in this matters that we're going through here, the sewer and the town center and the elections all happening to be happening at the same time, which is unfortunate in a way, because it confuses and allows people to make statements that are false, fear monger, and some are actually flat out lies. In the zeal to move their positions forward for whatever position they may be running, whether it's council or the mayor, as it is happening now. I have no political agenda. I have very solid political beliefs, and they are in line with a lot of the people that I am going to speak about today. I am a conservative, Christian, Republican, and I have been that all my life. And in particular, I want to start by saying that in this country, we have the right, First Amendment rights, to say whatever you want, free speech. You can be an idiot, and you're allowed to say what you want. You can be stupid, and you're allowed to say what you want. You can be ignorant. You can be a fearmonger. You can be a liar. And you can be completely wrong, and you are allowed to say it. What separates free speech is that some of the things that you say have consequences, that we have seen lately in the national political scene that we're unfortunately living through. And some of those things that are being said and done in the national level of politics, unfortunately, are here in Sky Valley. In this community where there are 390 year-round residents, maybe as stated earlier, 700, 800 other in total people. And unfortunately, the manifestation of some of the things that are out on public social media, Facebook pages created by people that are actually saying the things, and they can say it with impunity. There's nobody can challenge there. Is there pages that they're posting? And they have the authority and the right to block anybody that they may not want. Okay? But what I see happening here in Sky Valley, and unfortunately, it's not just a thing that happens in Sky Valley, it happens in many places in cities and towns across the country where I have been involved in projects, etc. There's always a group that wants to be there and they don't want anybody else to be there. We call them the NIMBYs, not in my backyard. And also, some of them have another qualification that are arcade people, citizens against virtually everything. And unfortunately, these folks are loud, noisy, and obviously have too much time, in my opinion, on their hands. They need a hobby, they need a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or they may even need an enema, or they need all of it. But I want to go to clarifying some commentaries that were done by the lady that is running against you, Madam Mayor. Lady that I met here in Sky Valley, and I enjoyed meeting her, and we happen to be of the same political slant. And we have over the years, over Pat and Facebook, we have communicated and contacted each other, and we met here at the club, and we've had conversations, etc. And in fact, she has got a Instagram message that I sent her when she ran for mayor, because I was concerned of some of the things that were being sort of suggested.
Mr. Mattea, I'm the city attorney. If you wrapped up a little bit, you're a little bit over time, we'll let you finish your point. But I think it's a 5-minute time period, and I've got them at close to 6 minutes right now. So if you can wrap up your point, just because that is the policy of the city.
Okay, and my wife is here to speak, and maybe she'll grant me the other 5 minutes. I appreciate it, thank you, and I will.
Okay.
So let me get to the point. A very slick ad video was put in Facebook that starts with this page by Benita Cotton Orr that says, remember the October 3rd in Sky Valley, the septic tank and sewer question and answer Sky Valley Chapel? The developer was asked about community involvement, and the slides, and I have them all here, I'm gonna read them quickly. Why did you not involve anybody from the community on the city or the city on the charrette? Ms. Cotton asks Harrison Merrill. He invited, Mayor Holly stepped in, and she invited some people from the city. We had citizens from the city come. We had some Sky Valley Council people. Mayor Holly continues, we had a planning and zoning person there, we had city managers there, we had our sewer and septic representative there. Mayor Holly also says, so we were involved in that. City manager Jason Streetman to Mayor Holly. I think that's the one you're talking about. That was one at Mr. Mateo's house. And the manager continues, the charrette that I was telling Ms. Orr about was the one that Mr. Oliver did at his office in Clarksville. City manager Jason again.
Not me.
It was Lou Oliver. Lou Oliver, yes. That was like a 3-day, that's what I'm referring to, but I was not involved with that, but there was a meeting. A charrette, Mayor Holly said. with Mr. Mateo, Mr. Jason Friedman said, which was actually read, yes. So Ms. Orr is selectively quoting quotes of that meeting that was held on October 3rd. So what happened at that meeting?
Mr. Mateo, we're gonna have to end it right here, just because.
No.
That-
Madam Mayor, this is not Atlanta, and there are only a few people sitting here, and there's probably nobody else, maybe one more person can come up here, so we can wait 5 minutes at this particular juncture.
And she gave, his wife gave her 5 minutes
that's-
to him.
The policy is everybody can stop.
There's also policy about doing certain things in the city that you've also said that even you don't necessarily have a precedent, you can change things.
Mr. Attorney,
You
I'm
said
sorry.
that. You're the one that said that.
I'll also say that I have sat in on online
Yes.
and I have heard and seen people here speak for 10 minutes without interruption. So I'm not sure why I'm being done this way because I think it's
How
important
much
for the
longer do
city.
you expect? I mean, are we gonna be here 20 minutes?
No, we're not gonna
30
be here
40
20 minutes. Maybe another 5 or 10 minutes, maximum. And I will be glad to answer anybody's questions because I think this is important because there's an election happening in the city of Sky Valley. Integrity is a
Here's the
question
thing.
that I'm bringing
I
up.
have not heard one thing yet that is the business of the city. I hear a personal issue that you may have against some individuals, which is fine. If you want to step outside and get on a soapbox, you can do that. But here, I don't see anything that you're asking that this council can remedy. And
If you
so,
will let me finish my presentation, you will see why I am here.
if everybody got up and went past the 5 minute mark at every meeting, we would be here. That's why there's a policy in place. If it's important, everybody wants to listen to it, we can wrap up this meeting, and then after the meeting, if you want to continue and you have a crowd, then you can do it. But otherwise, every person that gets up goes past the 5 minute mark, you have no grounds to tell them to stop. Policy is policy. But I'm gonna leave it up to the council. It's y'all's decision.
The council can waive that.
Mr. Mateo, how much longer do you think that?
I can wrap it up in 5 minutes.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much because I am gonna address some of the issues that this woman has said, challenging you. Allegations that are unfounded by any facts whatsoever that impugn your integrity, which is the basis of why she has decided to run for this mayor's position. But as I continue, so what happened, this is Mrs. Cotton Orr. So what happened at the meeting she read with the architect and part-time resident who is planning the hotel on Tahoe Lane? You deserve to know, she said, you, everybody. And then she proceeds to put freedom of information requests for every information, every meeting, phone call, text, call, whatever, that the city council had with Ryan Mateo that involved Mr. Mateo's participation from January 1, 2025 through the present. And specifically asking for all kinds of things. The city responds and says that there is no relevant information to provide. You know why? Because there wasn't any council meeting, there wasn't any information to be had. And I want to clarify, so then she ends the video by saying no relevant information? No relevant information and putting pictures of this proposed Tahoe Lane hotel project? No relevant master plan? You deserve to know. I want to clarify my position very clearly and give an example. In 2023, I became partners with Rosalind Haverty and created a development company for Sky Valley that's called Sky Valley Properties, Inc. Our intention was that we were going to develop single-family homes a couple of years and move forward, since he had lots and we had lots. On January 9th of 2024, I facilitated a meeting at my house, which Ms. Cotton Orr is very gladly misrepresents, to have a charrette, a pre-charrette, really, introduction meeting that was facilitated by me at my house in Sky Valley, and where the discussions of sewer and the charrette for the town center, the Harrison Merrill property, were to take place. That was not a charrette, it was a introduction meeting. The charrette was gonna take place afterwards. We went to lunch at the Dillard House, and then after that, the team of Harrison and Lou Oliver and Ross and Haverty and everybody went down to Lou Oliver's office in Clarksville to commence the charrette. I was not invited to the charrette. I was pissed because I felt that I should be there.
Yeah.
But Mr. Oliver's office, Mr. Oliver himself said, "We don't need you." So I went away, I was angry, I was upset. They did their thing, and they then presented a brief charrette plan, which was very preliminary to the city, and I did not participate in that charrette. Around December of 2024, my relationship with Ross and Haverty was very good, but we agreed to separate our resources again because we hadn't done anything in 2 years. In March of 2025, another charrette was prepared by, or a follow-up charrette was prepared by Ross and Haverty and the group with Lou Oliver and the Merrill to come up to a plan that was then presented to the state of the art thing here. The state of the city on July 16th. On June 15th, I entered into a contract to purchase a piece of property that is this piece here on Tahoe Lane. That is something we purchased. We entered into a contract to buy, and it was for a development project that we did our homework or diligent work to do a potential small boutique hotel. Nothing to do with the charrettes. Nothing to do with the first charrette, nothing to do with the second charrette. Ms. Orr, I'm sorry you weren't invited to the charrette, but I wasn't either. So you have the opportunity to take that back, and then the reason I say all this stuff is because the basis of her candidacy is to suggest to the citizens of Sky Valley that you all are in cahoots with the developers. That's in the inferring that you were taking money under the table, that you were in bed with the developers, whatever, and then they tie me into this. That is absolutely wrong. It needs to be retracted. And to me, that person is unqualified for mayor of the city of Sky Valley. And I have more to say, but I will shut up and sit down because the attorney has warned me.
Thank you, Ryan.
And I'm sorry that Ms. Orr is not here, because I would have asked her to say,
She's online.
She's online.
okay,
Why don't you ask her?
to respond.
Thank you, Mr. McKay. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cal Poinkowski, 66 Pleasant Mountain Drive. Cal Briefhandler recently said that this council has had no opposition until recently here. That's partially true, but not 100% true. Council has a staggered system. An election takes place every year. Since this council has been since 2020, this council has not told the citizens of Sky Valley when the qualification period is. This is the first year that they have. Transparency. Nobody knows when it is. They had the right people And they didn't put any information out there to let people know that you had the opportunity to run. The council was minimizing competition. They were minimizing opposition. This year, Mayor Style, Councilman McAfee, Councilman Oliver, and Councilman Turner said they were not running. And an email about qualification was sent out by the city to all the taxpayers. Councilman Oliver was the only person who was honest. Is that disinformation? A lie? If Mayor Style, Councilman McAfee, and Councilman Turner can't be honest about not running for another term, what else can we question? On October 9th, City Manager Jason Streetman in an email wrote, quote, "I do not know if I can be of further assistance on the matter, as I am not on the council, and simply do what is asked or told of me, and in turn, direct and manage staff accordingly of their decision," end quote. When evergreen trees needed to be cleared, Ellenberg Tree Service originally came in with a bid of $30,000. City Manager Streetman told Ellenberg that any bid over $25,000 was subject to a sealed bid. And that was the city policy at the time. Ellenberg changed their bid to $24,900 and was awarded the contract. Did City Manager Streetman do what the council wanted? When plans were put out to modify this current city hall, questions were asked about an architect. An architectural drawing was subsequently submitted. My attempts to locate the architectural firm weren't very successful. And that was because the firm never existed. It was eventually learned that City Manager Streetman used a computer program to provide an architectural drawing. Did City Manager Streetman do what he was asked to do? During that regular council meeting, no one on the council spoke up. Not to support City Manager Streetman or to make comments as to why an architect wasn't involved. City Manager Streetman fired the chief of police and Officer Casey Brown. Did City Manager Streetman do what the council wanted? The council was silent and both men had their decision overturned. There are many more examples that I can give, but my 5 minutes won't allow that. Everyone, including all the council members, should be encouraged by and encourage taxpayer participation in the government process. They have demonstrated, though, that they don't have answers to many questions. Or when they give answers, they have to come back to clarify the answers that they gave. And even though there's still questions about a lot of things, they continue to push this sewer project. A non sequitur here, is it because the club holds all the cards? This year there is opposition. Residents are campaigning, residents campaigning for mayor and council, providing facts, asking hard questions, pointing out financial problems, submitting open record requests, and giving that information to every taxpayer in Sky Valley to consider. In a few months of campaigning, they have been more transparent, in my opinion, and provided more information than the council has in 6 years.
I just don't know how to respond.
We don't have to. I'll just, there's only one thing that I will respond to. At absolutely no time did I ever say I was not funny.
I did not either.
I don't know where you got that.
I mean, there also
So the misinformation continues, Mr. Blankowski, correct? Correct?
Correct. Misinformation
Continues,
thrives.
thrives.
Also.
Shame on you,
Also,
pal.
the city does announce every year about the election and the
Absolutely.
dates and when, all that. So that happens every year.
And the election office in Reagan County does.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Are we through with forum? All right, let's move on to our next item on the agenda, which is executive session. I'm going to need a motion to go into executive session in reference to possible litigation. At this time, when we are in executive session, no action will be taken. I need a motion to go into executive session. Thank you, Dan. Second? Thank you, Bill. All in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
All right, it is passed. We are going into executive session and we are officially off the record. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. We have finished our business with executive session. No action was taken. Before the executive session started, Mr. Curtis had to leave for a doctor's appointment. So I need a motion to return to the record.
So moved.
Thank you, Bill.
Second.
Thank you, Dan. All in favor of returning back to the record, signify by aye.
Aye.
It is passed. Again, we did not do any business or take any actions. With this being said, Mr. Allred, if you'll please start the process of adjournment.
I would be absolutely pleased to do that, Holly. Having expertly accomplished every item on our agenda, I recommend that we adjourn this meeting.
So I'll second that.
Okay, second Dan. All in favor?
Aye.
It is done and it is over.